everybody, welcome to Also Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already and drop a like on this video. I'm trying to hit 100k subscribers on this channel by the end of the year, so your subscription would be much appreciated. Also, I'm about to hit 69k subscribers, and that's really funny, so subscribe. Today I'm doing hot takes, and I haven't done it in quite a while. I subsided the series as the playoffs were going because there was pretty much a video every day about the playoffs and there wasn't a spot for hot takes. I've meant to start it up for like a couple of weeks now since the playoffs have obviously stopped a while ago, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So I'm bringing it back. I might end up doing it 2 times a week rather than the once a week that I was previous, just because it's the off season. There's not a lot to talk about. So it's back. Hot takes, let's go. From my guy Diego, Phoenix closed their window the second that Chris Paul signed that massive contract. I disagree entirely. I don't think Chris Paul's contract is nearly as bad as people claim that it is. Not to mention, I think Chris Paul's gonna age fine. I think he's gonna be about a similar tier to what he was this year over the next at least 2 seasons, potentially more. And even then, like the window that gives you for the next 2 years or so is well worth the potential negative of him just not being that great for the last 2 years of his contract, even if that does end up being the case. Also, I think there's contingencies in that contract that mean the money's not guaranteed. Chris Paul is one of the main catalysts in the Suns, if not the main catalyst in the Suns being good, or being a lot better than they were last year, or the year previous to last year. So, no, I disagree. Chris Paul being back is a good thing, even if it's for a little bit more money than you maybe are comfortable paying a 36-year-old or whatever he is. The Bucks getting rid of PJ Tucker made them better. I don't know how that's true. I do think the Bucks overall improved this offseason because they had a good offseason, or at the very least they came out net neutral to what they were before. But I wouldn't say that losing PJ Tucker made them better. If Bobby Portis ends up starting at the 5 over Brook Lopez long term, and Giannis is essentially the small ball 5 in the defense and offense, and Bobby Portis is just spotting up and he's not the main source of the defense, then I could see it being a good thing. Granted, the same thing happened with PJ Tucker with the Bucks last year when Giannis was at the 5, they were at their best. Bobby Portis is a better shooter, so offensively it's better, defensively it's worse. I don't know. I'm glad Bobby Portis is back, and I don't think I would have paid PJ Tucker more than what the Heat did, but I wouldn't say it made him better. AD is still better than Jokic and Joel Embiid if he's healthy. I disagree that he's better than Jokic. I would say that he's probably better than Embiid, though I think it's relatively close. I'm just really low on Anthony Davis by comparison to a lot of people, and also really high on Nikola Jokic by comparison to a lot of people. So I know that take will annoy some people, but just I value Jokic's ability to be the engine of an elite offense more so than Anthony Davis's two-way play. If you feel differently, I completely understand, but I think that is the case. I think Jokic is better, and I think Jokic has a case for being maybe even the best player in the NBA, and I don't think AD does. Call me crazy, but that's how I feel. Lonzo Ball will go down as a free agency flop. No, because Lonzo Ball, as he had played the last 2 years on the Pelicans, was already worth the amount of money that the Bulls have given him. So unless Lonzo regresses, he's going to be worth the contract that he was given. If anything, Lonzo has the potential to improve, and if that's the case, the contract will be a steal. $22 million, and I think it's even $20 million a year on average for a player that is an elite defender, a nearly elite three-point shooter, an elite full-court playmaker, and a decent half-court playmaker who's improved as a finisher and mid-range shooter. That's a $20 million a year player. It just is. So the only way it'd be a flop is if he just regressed, and I don't think there's much danger of that happening. The Phoenix Suns are going to be a first-round exit next year. I mean, I doubt that because the Suns will probably be a top seed once again. They would have been a first-round exit last season had the Lakers been fully healthy, I think. But at the same time, the Lakers won't be in that situation again. At least I'd hope not. So No, I don't think they're going to be a first-round exit. I don't know why everyone's coming for the Phoenix Suns. Dallas figures it out and makes it to the Western Conference Finals. I don't know what exactly you mean by figures it out. I mean, the only way they could figure it out is if Kristaps Porzingis stopped sucking. But Porzingis was good back in the bubble playoffs that happened, and that wasn't enough to beat the Clippers before. Granted, the Clippers don't have Kawhi potentially going in the next postseason. But, yeah. Definitely don't think they figure it out. I think once again the Mavericks are going to be Luka Doncic is unbelievable, and he's going to, when they get to the playoffs, some incredible performance, but it's not going to be enough because his teammates really can't contribute outside of just hitting spot-up threes, and it's nice that they can hit those spot-up threes, but it's not enough because no one else can create offense. The Timberwolves stay healthy throughout the season, make the playoffs as the 8th seed. Well, I actually was going to record this video like a week ago, and it just kept getting delayed, and I would have revealed that I had made a video on this topic that was going to be out, but now the video on this topic is out. So, yeah, I think the playoffs are a reasonable expectation, or at least a play-in for the Timberwolves, so long as their core players play a majority of the season. Because Cat and D'Angelo Russell, when they played together, had a 13-10 record. So they can be a above 500 team if healthy, and I think that's a big enough sample size to showcase that. So that's why I have the Timberwolves as the dark horse going into next year. That said, health has been an issue for D'Lo and Cat for pretty much their entire careers. So if they get injured, that wouldn't be a surprise at all. But if healthy, they can be a good team. Or, you know, not a trash team like they normally are. Dennis Schroeder was a major steal for the Celtics. They will end up being a top 4 seed or higher with him, Tatum, and Brown. Well, I agree Dennis Schroeder was a steal, even though Dennis is not worth $20 million a year like he was asking for. He is definitely worth 4 or 5. And that was a steal of a contract, and he's a good starting point guard, though I think he's best as a 6th man. It was a steal for sure. That said, I don't think Dennis Schroeder alone is going to be the reason why the Celtics go from being really disappointing last year to being the 4 seed. I think Al Horford is going to play a bigger part in that than Dennis Schroeder is. I think Al Horford back on the Celtics is a much bigger deal than it's been given credit for, because people think Al Horford is washed when he's absolutely not. So that's going to be a big catalyst. I don't think Josh Richardson's going to be, because I don't think Josh Richardson's very good, but I do think they improved, and I think they're in a much better situation to have a much better season than they had last year. That was pretty bad, assuming that I think his last name is Udoka, their new head coach, can live up to the level of coaching of Brad Stevens. Even though Brad Stevens was an overrated coach, he was still a good one, so we'll have to see there. But they definitely have the potential to improve and potentially be a top 4 seed. I feel like Ben Simmons would actually be a good piece for the Warriors to acquire. The thing is, Ben Simmons can replicate a lot of what Draymond Green does for the Golden State Warriors in terms of like how he'd fit in with that system, with the shooting, with the playmaking out of the pick and roll, the defense, the team defense. But at the same time, you can't play them together because Draymond doesn't know how to shoot. If Draymond was back to like 2016 and he could shoot like 37% on 4 3 attempts a game, whatever it was, like be just a respectable 3-point shooter, I'd say fuck it, do it, and run Ben Simmons at the 5. But because Draymond is now a sub 20% 3-point shooter over the last 2 or 3 seasons, forget that. Like, it's just not going to work. You can't have 2 non-shooting bigs out there. Defensively, it'd be phenomenal, and the playmaking would be pretty damn good. There's no better playmaking trio than Draymond, Steph, and Ben Simmons, but I'm not gonna do that with the poor 3-point shooting. Obviously, you can say, well, you already have Steph and Clay. Your 3-point shooting is good enough. Like, I don't care how good your individual shooters are. You're not supposed to have 2 non-shooters on the floor. That's a concern that can only be overtaken by being really talented, and I don't think Ben Simmons nor Draymond Green are good enough overall to overcome the flaw that would come with that. I think they'd still be good, but I just think that fit would end up getting ugly because of the lack of floor spacing. Russell Westbrook will have the best, most efficient season of his career, all thanks to LeBron. I don't see how LeBron is really gonna impact Russell Westbrook having the most efficient season of his career. Also, just scratch saying he's gonna have the best season of his career. I think Russell Westbrook played at his best in terms of impact in like the latter half of the season with the Rockets when they went with their small ball. But obviously his best overall season came in 2017 when he won MVP, shot 34% from 3 on 7 attempts per game, which is the best part of that season to me for Russell Westbrook, not the fact that he averaged a triple-double. But definitely don't think LeBron is going to be a main catalyst in that, because if anything, LeBron's going to force him to play off-ball more. The only argument you could make is LeBron and AD being there just means Russell Westbrook will shoot the ball less, so that means he'll take higher percentage shots, which is relatively true, but that said, I don't think it's going to be that drastic of a difference from what we've seen before with Russell Westbrook. Not to mention potentially having to shoot more threes or doing more stuff off ball, which is not his natural element, unless he just adapts to that really, really well. I don't see Russell Westbrook being more efficient than before. I think LeBron is going to be a more efficient and very different player from what he was previous with Russell Westbrook there, because I think Russ is going to do most of the ball handling duties in the regular season, but I don't think that same thing can be said for Russell Westbrook. That was Hot Takes. Goodbye.